Hi, everyone. Diana Rankin here with our messages from Phillip. And we have two questions from our viewers this week. They're two different viewers, but I put them together because they matched. So I do that sometimes. So I welcome all of you to come. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. Thank you for the comments. And just really so grateful for all of you who support me. We will get a message also from one of my books. It's called The Master's Book of Answers by Phillip. And we just opened any page and you can see it's an oracle book with just different messages on each page. But I want to get right into our message here. The questions, the first one is, what are crop circles and who forms them? What are crop circles and who forms them? And the second question is, Putin is not going to be deterred. Will ETs get involved? I think as we go along, if you haven't already figured out why these two questions are connected, you'll get it as we go along. Okay. I've been inside of crop circles in Europe, visiting in that area, and the energy is different. It's just different. I don't know how to explain it. The energy is just different. It's like this morning, or excuse me, yesterday, I had to take the trash out, and I live down a 900-foot lane. So taking the trash out is a long walk. And I didn't want to drive, even though it was kind of nasty and damp out. I decided that I would walk. And just as I put on, my winter coat because it's still cold and damp and nasty. And as I started out, it started raining. I said, okay, I'm going to go anyway. The rain was light. By the time I got about 3/4 of the way down the lane, the rain started coming in sideways and hard. My glasses were getting wet. I was getting wet and cold, but I thought, to turn back now would be foolish. So I went ahead down to the end of the lane, and then I turned north because the wind was coming from the south. And because I've been walking like this with my head down and the hood of the coat up and a hat on and all the gloves and the whole bit. But as I turned and had the wind and the rain at my back, I could lift my head. And as I lifted my head, I looked out, and there was this huge rainbow, and I could see the arc, but I could also see both ends of the rainbow. I have never experienced seeing both ends of the rainbow, where the rainbow actually ended on the earth. It was within walking distance. I could almost reach out and touch it. One was a house, and I live in the country, so lots of fields, and the fields are still cut. They haven't been replanted or grown yet. So you could see forever because this is fairly flat land where I live. And one was lighting up this house that's across the way. And the other was on the nearest road, and it was in a field, but there were trees because there's a creek along there. And it was right in that field that I could see the end here. And you could see, I understand why they say there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, because both ends, the house was lit up with this gold. These trees and the field were just lit up with this gold. And as I watched it, of course, the wind pushed it away and the clouds covered it up. But it was the most phenomenal experience to see that both ends of the arc of the rainbow. A crop circle felt very different to me. The different ones I've been in, and different ones feel different. And I haven't been in a lot, just a few, but those I've been in had this phenomenal energy that I can't explain. It's like seeing both ends of the rainbow. I can't explain why I got to do that or how that even felt, other than because there are no words. Words seem to I, a wordsmith, am about to say something that I shouldn't be saying probably, but it is like words diminish an experience like that. Words make it less than the emotion of it. So yesterday when I saw the rainbow, and thought seriously about, I wonder what it would feel like to stand in that end before I could even think, because I could have walked to it but either end pretty easily. I could see it moving away to where you could tell there was an end, but it wasn't where you could actually see it on the ground. That was phenomenal. And standing inside crop circles, that's pretty phenomenal too. Okay, that's our first question. Our second question is, a writer said, Putin is not going to be deterred. Will ETs get involved? Let's see what Phillip has to say and how these two questions are connected. We have spoken before how many of you currently living on Earth are not Earthlings, but have come from other galaxies to have the experiences of Earth life. And he does say experiences with an S. To have the experiences of Earth life, and also to learn as well as to help heal the planet. Putting this aside, we will address the ones who create the circles, and also those who watch over Earth from afar, rather than those who share the planet with those of the Earth. The crop circles are created, as many suspect, by travelers from other galaxies and dimensions. They are quite real, but are not seen because of the energy level. By this we mean they are vibrating at a level that is undetected by the human eye. However, the Earth can detect the transporter, or ship if you prefer. This detection by Earth is what creates the imprint. For landing, most often a field away from humans is chosen for the ship's landing. This transporter is a smaller ship than the mothership. Usually it can slip through Earth's atmosphere while only causing a nearly undetected breeze. And what I saw when I wrote that, what Phillip was showing me, is like a ripple. This kind of breeze, like a soft, very soft cloth moving. The transporter is not only transparent, it is of such vibration that a human could walk through the vessel and feel only a slight wave of energy. I found that fascinating. That really, wow. Phillip goes on to say, the purpose of the visit is often to collect specimens, such as is done on any expedition. To address the question before it is asked, yes, humans and other creatures may be collected. However, there is greater interest in the collection of grasses, plants, and air. I found that and air interesting. Some of those who land are building new societies. Others are curious and exploring. Others may be landing those who mimic humans to either work toward the destruction or healing of those on Earth. There are also those who watch over Earth to keep her safe from those who would destroy her. These watchers will not interfere with man's wars, but will interfere to avoid destruction of Earth. The watchers are here to keep at bay those who also are in the nearby atmosphere, who would do harm to Earth and her inhabitants. I found that really interesting. So what I'm getting out of this is that there are those who watch over us from other galaxies, other dimensions, and there are those who watch over us who would do us harm. And so the good guys and the bad guys, so to speak, because I don't have a better analogy, the good guys are watching over Earth to keep any destruction from happening, but they will not interfere with what we're doing here on Earth. They will not allow us to destroy the Earth. And I think Earth would also agree with that. She will not be destroyed. Humankind would be destroyed before the Earth will be destroyed. So hopefully neither is going to happen for a very, very long time, if ever. Anyway, Phillip's last paragraph, and the last paragraph I always read a couple of times because it's always so important, and it's what gives us the real message, I think. The greatest treat and the greatest healing for Earth comes from those who live within her atmosphere. Each must decide how to help Earth. This is simply done by living your human experience through the truth of who you are. You are divine light. You are pure love. I'm going to read that again. The greatest threat and the greatest healing for Earth comes from those who live within her atmosphere. Each must decide how to help Earth. This is simply done by living your human experience through the truth of who you are. You are divine light. You are pure love. Shall we get our message from Phillip? And we're just going to flip through. And you see, I just stop at any page. What I'm hearing, I'm getting, it's kind of hard to pick because honestly, I'm getting left and right, but right feels ever so slightly stronger. So I think both messages are important for all of us. But if you got right, our intuition's in sync. If you got left, that's really a message you also have to listen to. So on the right side, that which you create in thought is multiplied and returned to you. That which you create in thought is multiplied and returned to you. Yes, everything is energy. Everything. Einstein tells us that. And so whatever we create, we're creating it using thought and creating it and forming it in the energy. We're creating our own lives. So the more we think about war and go, how horrible it is, and it is, but we also want to then counter that with a prayer of a blessing, anything that is love, with a meditation where we see the earth, our planet, in loving energy, where we say prayers for all peoples, including those we don't like. That's what love truly is, isn't it? And we certainly have to say prayers for our political leaders in all countries, including Russia. If you heard left, discouragement is the creator of defeat. Discouragement is the creator of defeat. So, my friends, remember that we are creating a world. We are creating our world. And we do that either in creating destruction or creating joy, happiness, creating a loving universe. How do we do that? Well, Phillip tells us. This is simply done by living your human experience through the truth of who you are. You are divine light. You are pure love. We are doing on, you can go to my website and find out more about it, but we are doing Sacred Circles by Zoom once a month, usually the third week of the month, the third Friday, usually. Sometimes that changes. Sacred Circle is, I tell you a story, and then we do a guided meditation for personal healing and healing of our world. And then for anyone who wishes a private message, or a personal message, because in a group, it's not private. But those messages amazingly can be kept private if necessary. But if they're also okay to be said in front of the group, I use them as a teaching moment. And so we listen to each other's messages and gain. Hopefully you'll join us to Sacred Circle. You're always welcome. You can register, get signed up on my website. Also, I do have a newsletter. The newsletter is free. I put out information on the blog. That's free information as well. Both are the newsletter. To sign up for that's on my website. And again, it's free. My blog is across the top. It says blog. Click on that and you'll be able to read what you want. Well, my friends, again, I want to leave you with Phillip's message at the end. How do we... well, hello there. I'm sorry. Terry, I'm not sure how to say your name. Thank you for coming live. And it says Putin is Antichrist. He is obsessed. He pursues only his own personal goals and is ready to sacrifice everything in his power. Yes, yes, that is the human answer. Absolutely. What we also have to do is we don't want to ignore what's going on in our human lives. We absolutely do not. We need to work against that. And there are some thoughts I have about how to do that on my website, under the blog. And also I put things out on the newsletter as well as on this channel, how we can work for peace and speak out against what's taking place. At the same time, every thought that we have is adding either to peace or it's adding to war. Every thought. So as we get angry, we're just creating that in the energy. And we want to be able to bring forth leaders that are caring, leaders that are kind, leaders that are powerful in their support of the people. So remember how we do that. This is simply done by living your human experience through the truth of who you are. You are divine light. You are pure love. Sending more anger to Putin isn't going to work. Do we get angry about it? Absolutely. Do we get upset about it? Absolutely. We don't want to stuff it. We don't want to ignore that. But we have to take it then to the next level and bring in that truth of who we are, that pure light, that pure love, and send that to him. And hopefully also be sure and send it to the Ukrainians. All right, my friends, thank you. I have to look down here to be able to see the screen, and I look over here because the screen is bigger from the actual computer. So thank you for coming live and expressing your opinions. For those of you who have questions, you can put them in the comments below. For those, you can email them to me. My website email is all below. And I just ask that you keep your questions general for everybody, all of our audience, to be interested in the questions and answers. If you have personal questions, please just get a hold of me by phone or by email, and we'll set up a private session for you. I thank you so much for being live with me today. I thank each and every one of you who watches in your private time. Thank you so much for the comments. Thank you for the love that you receive from me. And thank you for the love that you send to me. And remember, you are divine light. You are pure love. Next week, we will do the weekly projection, or we'll do the monthly projections for April. If you haven't already seen the March predictions, please go look at them. Phillip did tell us to watch out. He did say that there would be a nuclear missile or something, I forget the words, from North Korea. And that's what we should watch for, as we had all of our attention over here on Ukraine, and we really needed to also pay attention to North Korea. He did predict that, and I just read earlier this week that a missile was launched. So be sure and get the April predictions. They're coming next week. And then I will see you again on Friday. Thank you, and thank you. Until then.